Today, I want to present to you the 9 most important habits each Stoic should add to their lives in 2024. We cannot wait any longer till we become the best we can be. There's simply not enough time. Keep in mind that these habits follow a story. If you want to get the expected results and see the ending of the story, watch this video from the beginning till the end, paying the most attention to habits 4, 8, and 9. Bonus tip: in the end, there's an extra habit. Ready? Let's begin. Habit number 1. Plan your days the night before. The 1st of January is not a big deal if you think about it. New Year is the favorite day of the losers, because that's the only day they're motivated and write their goals down. But the next day, they forget them. As you live your days, so you'll live your life, said Seneca. 1 year is just one day repeated 365 times. You have to look at each day individually to create a successful year. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, said that well-being is realized by small steps, but it is truly no small thing. You don't promise yourself that you're going to read more. You decide you're going to read a page a day. You don't decide that you're going to transform your diet or your exercise. You start going for a walk. And to ensure you are actually going to do it, write your goals the night before. This way, your subconscious can prepare the night before and make it easier for you once you actually start doing it. If you don't have goals, what are you doing with your life? Seneca said that if you don't know where you are going, no wind is favorable, meaning that nothing will help you if you don't help yourself. Just think of the smallest thing you can start with. Don't overcomplicate things and don't lie to yourself. Otherwise, anxiety will start to kick in. Habit number 2. Don't give in to your anxiety this year. You have to stop letting anxiety rule you. Life cannot be lived that way, not another year. In one of the passages in Meditations, Marcus Aurelius says, "Today, I escaped anxiety." "No, wait," he says, "that's not right. Actually, I discarded it. It was all within me in my reasoned choice. The plane, the airport, and the weather are not responsible for your anxiety. You are responsible for your anxiety. You're responsible for your feelings, for the worry that you're projecting at this thing. It's not helping you, it's not making you better, it's not doing anything about the problem. It's just paralyzing you. You're just torturing yourself in anticipation of what might happen or might not happen. You suffer more in your imagination than in reality. I don't know about you, but I've never said to myself, "Oh, I'm so glad I was so anxious about that." It didn't do anything for me, and it's not going to do anything for you this year. So what's the solution? Follow Epictetus's advice. Focus only on what you can control and fuck the rest. What is under your control? Your thoughts, your actions, your desires, your goals. Focus on that. That's already plenty to deal with. That you shouldn't have enough time to worry about anything else. Let other people worry about what they are going to say about you. Let your boss worry about whether you are good enough or not. Let that bitch decide whether you are the right one for her. You are too busy fulfilling your potential and creating a routine you can actually stick to. Habit number 3, the perfect Stoic routine. You have to develop and build a routine, you just have to. Habits and routines work together. Life without design is erratic, said Seneca. For me, I wake up early to seize every day. I start tackling my most important task first, following Marcus Aurelius's advice. Concentrate on the task at hand like a Roman, like it's the last thing you will ever do. Even if aliens are invading Earth, I don't touch my phone for the first 4 hours that I'm awake. If I cannot help myself, how will I help anyone else? I don't get sucked into emails just to say I'm being productive. Being busy is not enough, so are the ants. The question is, what are you so busy about? I see so many people doing these crazy 2-hour ass morning routines, and by the time they begin their first task, they are more tired than when they woke up. When you rise in the morning, Marcus Aurelius says, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to enjoy, to think, to love. That's pretty much all you need. You can also journal and write your thoughts down, but please do not give in to negative thoughts when you wake up. This can make or break your morning. Instead, schedule worry times. If you're meeting friends later that day, save your worries for then and talk to them about it. Try it and thank me later. After the morning is gone, a Stoic waits for noon to assess their day so far. Am I moving toward the right direction? Did I let anything control my mood? The afternoon is a good time to add a workout in and get rid of the day's stress and keep your mind and body active. Seneca said that we should train the body rigorously so it's not disobedient to the mind. Show yourself who's in control here, your reasoned choice or your animal impulses. At the end of the day, a Stoic always does evening reflection, but since this is a very important habit in itself, We are going to cover it later. A small hack here. I've noticed that when I go out with friends or see my family at the end of the day, I find it way easier to complete my goals because I have something I'm looking forward to. But even if you have such an amazing routine, you need self-discipline to stick to it. If you are enjoying this as much as I enjoyed making it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Stoic wisdom. Thank you. Habit number 4. Without self-discipline, you'll accomplish nothing. Epictetus said that no man is free who is not master of himself. Seneca adds that we are all slaves to something. Some people are slaves to sex, to mistresses. Other people are slaves to power or ambition. Maybe some of us are slaves to that cup of coffee in the morning. We all have things that we do that we know we need to stop doing to be the person that we want to be. People say, "Oh, I don't have time." Show me the screen time on your iPhone, and I'll tell you whether you have time or not. You have time, but choose to spend it on things that don't matter. You watch too much news. You spend too much time on social media scrolling. You say you don't have time, but here you are watching this video. We spend too much time on things that don't matter. Epictetus says that you cannot be a philosopher unless you are willing to stop doing some of these things. Otherwise, you'll become one of the masses, a fool. Focus on what matters. Ask yourself at every moment, said Marcus Aurelius, is this essential? You have power over your mind, he says. If we cannot discipline ourselves, we are ruined. Show up every day and build your life action by action, Marcus Aurelius reminds you. But of course, not everyone is born disciplined, and that's why Seneca proposed a solution. Habit number 5, practice voluntary discomfort. Every new year, Seneca started off the same way. He would throw himself into the freezing Tiber River in Rome on the 1st of January. He's saying, I'm in charge. I'm so in charge of myself that I'm throwing myself into these freezing waters, although I really don't want to. The idea is simple. If we go to the gym a few times a week to train, we'll be better prepared when we'll have to pick up emotionally heavy things in everyday life. I don't think that you need me to tell you that life is difficult. You should have already figured it out by now. But for the Stoics, problems do not exist. Remember that Stoicism views life as a way to practice virtue on every occasion. A Stoic welcomes problems, and although they can be difficult to deal with, the Stoics laid down a plan to help us prepare for the challenges we will inevitably face in 2024. Do you want to know the best way to measure if you are growing as a person or staying the same? Check your problems. Are your problems this year the same as the previous one? If yes, you've made no improvement. Seneca advised us to set aside specific days each month to test ourselves and see if we can make it with simple clothes and food. If you want a soldier to be ready for the battle, he said, train him before the battle. For example, I never warm up my food in the oven and always sleep only on my underwear, regardless of the time of the year. I suggest you do the same. This is something a friend of mine once recommended to me because I saw him doing cold baths in the middle of January. This is why the people you surround yourself with are so important. Habit number 6, find comrades and invest in friendships. Seneca said that if you have unhealthy friends, you're going to be unhealthy. If you have ambitious friends, you're going to be ambitious. Epictetus was very strict with the people his students associated with. Surround yourself only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth the best. Don't repeat Marcus Aurelius' mistake, who appointed his best friend, Avidius Cassius, as the governor of Syria, while Avidius betrayed him by sleeping with Marcus's wife and starting a civil war against him. When you put that cigarette in your mouth, a friend should take it away from you, instead of telling you, here's another one. When you skip a workout, your friend should motivate you instead of saying it's no big deal. It is a big deal. The Stoics worked in teams. They kept each other accountable for their progress. This way they were able to improve way faster and keep a constant watch over themselves. I'm so grateful and lucky that my 3 best friends are also Stoics. The discussions we have are amazing. I wish the same for you. Remember Ryan Holiday's words, you can't change your friends, but you can change your friends. Start from a small circle and build from there. After all, progress is more important than perfection, which is the 7th habit on this list. Disclaimer, the final 2 habits, 8 and 9, are in my opinion the 2 habits you should adopt starting from January 1st. No excuses. The bonus habit will also surprise you. But first, habit number 7, focus on progress. Perfection is a myth. One of the most common destructive thought patterns today is known as all or nothing thinking. Examples of this include thoughts like, if you're not with me, you're against me. Everything is either good or bad. Because this wasn't a complete success, it is a total failure. In other words, Perfectionism. Psychologists know that this sort of extreme thinking is associated with depression and frustration. It's a miserable, unproductive way to live. Of course, the Stoics had already proposed that 2,000 years ago. Marcus Aurelius, the man who ruled the whole Western world, told himself, "Don't go around expecting Plato's Republic." We want things to go perfectly, so we naturally tell ourselves that we'll get started once the conditions are right, or once we get this or that. Well, guess what? Circumstances will never be perfect. You create the perfect circumstances. Marcus Aurelius says, "Be satisfied with the smallest of progress and do not consider it a small thing." Small habits add up to incredible results. The compound effect is known as the eighth wonder of the world. Just because you didn't manage to accomplish the first goal of the day, that doesn't mean you should get depressed and give up. How stupid is that? Epictetus told his students that we abandon our pursuits because we try to perfect them. Instead, the message is clear. Do the best with what we've got. Doing your work for the Stoics is more than enough. Pay attention to the next two habits and tattoo them in your head. It's that important. Habit number 8. Practice honest self-reflection. The following quote from Seneca is worth repeating 1,000,000 times. When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, aware of this habit that's now mine, I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by. This brings peace and freedom. This is our biggest sin, said Socrates. We are sleepwalking during the day, repeating the same mistakes over and over again, not stopping to question where our actions will lead us. Self-reflection prevents exactly that. If you remember the first law, I explained that a Stoic journals in the morning hours, tracks the progress during the day, and reviews the day's progress at the end of it. Why is this so necessary, you might ask? Because unless you catch yourself making the mistake, you can't change it, Seneca said. Practicing evening retrospections consistently will allow you to become more self-aware through every step of your day, because you will be actively gathering information to see what you need to change to become an even greater human being. Here are the only 3 questions you need for a successful reflection. Be brutally honest with yourself when answering these. What bad habit do I need to stop that caused my distress? What did I do well today that contributed to my happiness? What am I still missing? Not from externals, but from inner qualities, to become the man I strive to become and create the life I want. For example, after writing for 2 weeks straight that the weather, something out of my control, was controlling my mood, making me miserable and angry, I stopped caring about the weather. It sounds so simple, but it is. When you know that at the end of the day, you will have to be judged by someone, in this case yourself, you are less likely to sin during the day. But be careful. Now that you know how you can improve, don't beat yourself up. Have some self-compassion. Research shows that forgiving yourself is what actually helps you improve. Seneca used to review his actions every day. When he found faults of his, he used to say to himself, "Promise me that you won't do this again. For now, I forgive you." He knew there was not enough time to waste, so he had a final habit to help him with that. Habit number 9. Memento mori and de brevitate vitae. Remembering that you are mortal is not terrifying, but creates a sense of urgency in your life to get things done. The Stoics are not saying to chug down 2 bottles of vodka or find an orgy to join just because you realized you are mortal. Instead, Seneca said it well when he wrote, "I tell you, I won't allow anyone to rob me of a single day. Let this year be the year you finally face your fears, one of them being the fear for your mortality." This is the habit that changed my life the most, and I owe it to Seneca. At the end of every day when you go to bed, tell yourself, "I have lived my life. Now take what's left and live it properly." The next day, when and if you wake up, tell yourself, "It's a bonus day." This shift in mindset will make you appreciate each day more and treat it literally as if it were your last. Life is long, said Seneca, only if you know how to use it. This way, you won't have much time for pointless grief or endless enthusiasm, because there will be simply not enough time to. Remember this, death smiles at us all. All we can do is smile back. Marcus Aurelius. Can you now see the story coming to an end? The day starts by planning it, the same way a year starts by writing down your goals. Problems arise and anxiety kicks in, but you have to stick to your routine and goals by cultivating the virtue of self-discipline. In the process, you add voluntary discomfort strategically to make yourself more resilient and mentally strong. But of course, a human life is pointless except for the impact it has on others. So you decide to find comrades and accountability partners that will support you on your path to virtue. Throughout the year and your life, you realize that focusing on progress actually helps you accomplish more. than becoming addicted to perfection and giving up after 2 days. Finally, you realize the importance of self-reflection to make sure you are on the right track to creating an extraordinary life, and you also use death to keep you alive and make the most of your time here. As I promised you, there is actually a final bonus habit, that of amor fati, the love for one's fate. I left it for the end because most people just want to hear the usual easy-to-follow Stoic habits. But for those of you who are still here, this shows me you are taking your Stoic education seriously. Amor fati means being a living warrior who accepts whatever life throws at them, and instead of running away, they face it with immeasurable courage, doing the best they can, finding fault with no one, blaming no one, turning against no one. As Epictetus said, these people are friends of God and are unshakable, because nothing can happen without their consent. This is just a brief overview of what amor fati means. To learn more about this law and 24 more Stoic laws, click this video next. Thank you.